So right here I have the Samsung Galaxy Watch 5, which comes in 2 different variations and 4 different sizes. So today I got the 40 and the 44mm active models for you, and we're gonna see what differences there are in terms of the amount of information that you get on a display. We will check out the specs and the design and how they actually look on my wrist. Now the very first thing that I want to mention is the price. So since both of these models are now over a year old, you can get some great deals on them. Right here I got the Bluetooth version and a smaller 40mm one. You can get this one for around 230 euros, and you can get the bigger 44mm version for about 240 over here in Germany. But I bet there are even some better deals out there if you look a little bit longer. So you can basically say that you can get both watches for the same price. By the way, I will leave all of the links for the product down below in the description if you want to check them out for yourself. Now let's talk about each watch and how they actually look on my wrist. Then we will compare and talk about the major differences, and at the end I will give you my final thoughts on which one is the best for you. So right here I have the 2 different sizes in my hand. And the size difference is pretty obvious. The 44mm and the 40mm version may have the same height, but that's really the only thing that they have in common. All of the other specs are different. The 40mm version is a little bit smaller, it is shorter, and you really see the difference when you wear it. The bigger version almost covers up my whole wrist, whereas on the smaller version I can see a lot of my skin on the sides of the watch. I know it's pretty much a preference thing. I can say that the 40 and the 44mm version didn't bother me at all during the night, during the day, during some workouts or anything else. I can still put my sleeve over it and it still works fairly good. Now in terms of the weight, there's once again not such a big difference. The smaller 40mm version weighs in at 28 grams and the bigger one weighs in at 33 grams, and trust me, you really don't feel the difference at all. Next, let's talk about the straps right quick, and since we're talking about Samsung watches, we actually get the same strap. Now like always, they have the standard 20mm wide band, but the length is the exact same as well. You can really see it if you put both straps next to each other without the watches in between. That's maybe one of the coolest parts about the Galaxy watches, since you can wear any watch up to the Galaxy Watch 5 and use any band if you want. It doesn't work with the Galaxy Watch 6 since they have another closing mechanism. Instead of a little metal pin that you have on the backside right here, you get a button that you have to push in, and that doesn't work with this one. Now as for the colors, you can get this watch with a silver case. There is a sapphire blue one, black, rose gold, pink gold, and a normal gold, which really looks a little bit silver-ish to be honest. So let's talk about the size of each watch. So I have a 19cm wrist, which is about 7.5 inches. If you look at the 40mm version on my wrist, you can really see that it pretty much fills my whole wrist. And on the left or on the right side of the watch, there is no skin left. Now the smaller one is a little bit too small for my wrist and it almost disappears on it. So if you have anything close to my wrist size, I would suggest going with the bigger 44mm version as it looks so much better. Now before we get into the biggest differences, which is the screen and how much you actually see on it, just real quick a few specs. The 40mm version is a 40.4 by 39.3 by 9.8mm smartwatch with a 1.2 inch Super AMOLED touch display. Now the bigger 44mm version has a 44.4 by 43.3 by 9.8mm case with a slightly larger 1.4 inch Super AMOLED display. But besides those differences, everything is the same. You got the black bezels all around the watch, they have the same size, the buttons on the side, they have the same size, and only the lug to lug size is a little bit different. Now on the smaller 40mm version I measured 48mm, and on the bigger I measured 52mm. Alright, now over to the display, and let's start with the text messages. It doesn't matter if you get text messages, WhatsApp messages, emails, or if you just ask the Google Voice Assistant for something. You will always get a lot more text on the bigger display. And I'm not talking about just 1 or 2 words, it's more like triple of that and more. You will find another big difference in your settings. In each tab, if it's your display settings, sound and vibrations, advanced features, or whatever, you will always get more text on the larger Galaxy Watch. Even to that point that you actually get another feature displayed, which you can't see on the 40mm model. On the Google Play Store, we got the same thing. You more or less get to see one extra app per tab. Like if you're looking for training apps, if you want to discover new apps, watch faces, and watch face apps, and so on. On each, you get a little bit more information on the bigger version. In your sport modes or in all of your health applications, both watches will give you the same amount of text on a display. That's for your sleep stats, heart rate, SpO2 level, ECG, and even the weather apps are the same. If you swipe to all your apps, the only difference is that the icons get a little bit bigger on the 44mm version. And guys, there we have it. Those are all of the differences you will get on the 40 and the 44mm version and how they actually look on my wrist. I would personally go with the bigger 44mm version as it looks so much better on my wrist, and I really think the 40mm version is way too small for my taste. Now, if you like the video guys, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more tech reviews. And I guess with that one being said, I will see you in the next one. Peace.